Why do you think mental health awareness and education is so important?
I think it's just as important as physical health, but it just hasn't been spoken about, right? So if I
Hmm.
was to ask people about, give me 5 things that you would know to do to look after your physical health, they'll say, well, I need to eat well, eat my vegetables, drink water, go for exercise, do all of these things. If I said to somebody, how do you look after your mental health? They might struggle with that, right? They might go, well, I don't really, what do you mean? I actually, or worse, sometimes they might say, I don't know what you mean, I haven't got mental health. And that's interesting because people then talk about mental health as being something that they have or they don't have, as opposed to
Absolutely.
everybody having mental health, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Everyone. And I talk to
yeah.
people all the time and I say to them, you know what? It's not a them and us situation. Everybody's got mental health, right? We've always had mental health because we've got body. And the last time I checked, our brains are in our body. But the current status quo, even now, Bella, doesn't pay it doesn't pay due diligence to that because we have two mental hospitals, and Monique was talking about that earlier. For me, what that has meant is that we have a hospital that we're used to and we are quite happy to go to. Sometimes for pure stupidness, let's get that clear. And we'll go to A&E for the broken finger and go, oh, broke my finger, it's really bad, it's really painful. And yet the people who go to hospital because their mind is broken at that moment, that's the fear, that's the scary bit, and nobody wants to do that. And I think that's where we have to do some work, right? Is to explain to people
Absolutely.
that these two hospitals are the same. They're looking after
Yeah,
you, whether or not it's your mind at the moment or your body. But I think that society hasn't helped very much in the
no.
portrayal of what mental hospitals look like. Now, I've been to mental hospitals before and I have been inside them, and I will agree with Monique. Some of them are really nice and really beautifully made, especially now. But I remember going and visiting a relative of mine, and I couldn't have been any older than 8, and I'm 42 now, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. It was a very different experience, which was quite fearful for me as an 8-year-old child. But I know that things have moved on since that. But
Yeah,
historically, and in terms of legacy, we also have to understand that that's what people are struggling with. So it's my job
absolutely.
to help people understand that things have
Yeah,
moved on. We're amplified
sure,
now, people are talking about it, which is a
sure.
brilliant thing, but there is still work to do.
Absolutely. Can I just ask you a little bit more detail of what is the mental health first aid course and how long does it last? Is it a 1 day, three
Yeah.
day?
Oh,
What's
so
involved?
brilliant. I love the mental health first aid training course. I would say that I'm totally biased and I'm an associate for MHFA England as well. So I would say that. But in a serious note, it can be life changing and it can be life saving
Mm,
because the varying courses that we deliver. So we have a half day course, for example, and the half day course is four
yes.
hours. And it's what I would run if I was running a community course where people are just having conversations about mental health, right? I'd start to open up that dialogue. At the moment, as a business, we are delivering an awful lot of 1 day mental health first aid champions
Mm,
courses. Now, this course is very specific for businesses because it talks about their bottom end, right? It talks about their bottom number. It talks about productivity within the organization. It talks about how much mental ill health is costing your business. And managers love hearing that. They're like, oh, because it's money. And therefore, they're involved in that conversation, which is brilliant. And it starts that dialogue around what you can do to support your staff at work and what you should be doing, what the law says you should be doing, what the current NICE guidelines are in terms of mental ill health support and signposting, for example. Then the 2 day mental health first aider is a 2 day intensive course where you become a mental health first aider. This is like somebody becoming a physical first aider, where if somebody collapses with a cardiac arrest, somebody's
mm,
taught how to use a defibrillator and they know how to do CPR, right? That's what that person does. If you are a mental health first aider, you are taught the skills needed to listen actively, pick up on signs and symptoms of somebody becoming unwell, listening for these subliminal messages that Joanne was talking about earlier, in terms of, are they thinking about killing themselves? Do we talk about that? And we have that in a
mm,
really safe environment because it puts the fear in people when they start talking about something they're not used to talking about. So we create a
mm.
really kind of welcoming and safe environment for people to talk about these things. And when they leave, they feel confident to be able to have an intervention, which might mean that they say, do you know what? I hear you. I understand that this must be really difficult for you. Did you know that there are certain things that are available for you? For example,
Absolutely.
Joanne works in psychotherapy. It might be really useful to go and speak to somebody who might be able to help you with what you're going through. But if a person isn't aware of what these signposting options are, then they get stuck.